Tzu Chi volunteers in St. Maarten continue to care for Hurricane Irma victims and provide aid supplies to them. We look at how counselors and volunteers help drug abusers get off drugs through spiritual exchange. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Margaret Lin. Thank you for joining us. Over the past 2 months after Hurricane Irma swept through St. Maarten, Tzu Chi volunteers have continued to care for the affected residents. Volunteers recently held an aid distribution to help them through this tough time. Let's take a look.
2 months after Hurricane Irma, reconstruction in St. Maarten is still moving very slowly. However, Tzu Chi volunteers have shown dedication to providing help. Besides cleaning up the venue, volunteers also came up with an idea of pasting 3 signs on every station. The sign reads, "Saying good words, thinking good thoughts, and doing good deeds." Recipients came in orderly fashion to receive the rice.
What I like about it is how you guys organize it. Because a lot of people try to help, but they end up doing more harm than good because they don't organize it good. A lot of fights and whatnot, but you guys doing a good job. Very peaceful, very nice. Thank you.
Especially after the hurricane, it's a lot of need, and and these things that they're doing, and you all come daily to give out bread and rice, and it's very good what you all doing, and God bless you.
A lot of people need it, and with the Tzu Chi Foundation and with the help of God, we are going to be forward because we are alive and we have the energy to continue.
Gracias, Sandra. Tzu Chi. Thank you, Tzu Chi. Thank you.
I always see them there. Today I am very happy to be here. In the future I hope I can continue and help. And I like the way how they do the things, how the structure, how we do it.
Oh, that was very nice. You see a lot of people come in, and the people really need, they are in need, that's the way they come in.
A very successful event. There were so many joyous faces. People were happy to receive the donations.
The relief goods include clothes, slippers, and rice. The participation by local volunteers made this event successful and also started a cycle of goodness.
As Thanksgiving is approaching, the Tzu Chi Chicago chapter joined hands with charity groups to provide aid supplies to the homeless people. They also check on their health as well as offer them medical counseling.
They are medical students from the UIC and the Northwestern University. They came to measure blood pressure and blood sugar for the homeless and also do basic examinations. Tzu Chi Chicago chapter and St. Vincent Family Service joined hands to give out some daily necessities, blankets, and scarves to the homeless.
You guys, with your heart, taking care of people and whatnot, so yeah.
And I appreciate the things y'all do for me. I come here so y'all can get more clothes and stuff.
I think they appreciate that we've been putting the scarves over their necks, and I think it's a connection between people that's really nice.
The story about Tzu Chi's bamboo coin bag also brings everyone's love together.
I think you are very grateful. It started off as a very humble thing, just giving pennies every day, and then it turns into something great and international. And I think the Tzu Chi Foundation is so much for this. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
What could be more beautiful than that? And I'm so blessed and so proud that I can say you're my friend.
Prior to Thanksgiving, Tzu Chi and other charity groups have paved the path of love.
In mid-July this year, Jilin province in northeast China experienced severe floods. Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized to help affected residents clean up the environment and distribute relief supplies. This love has continued until the end of the year, as volunteers recently headed to Yongji County to give out winter aid supplies.
In the freezing weather of November in northeast China, Tzu Chi volunteers set out at 4:30 a.m. They're hosting a winter aid distribution at the Yongji 10th High School in Jilin City for flood victims.
After the flood, volunteers have been quite concerned about us, as they usually ask us what we need. We told them we need rice, noodles, and cooking oil. We were surprised that the volunteers came here today. We feel very thankful.
In July this year, Jilin Province experienced severe floods. Among the affected areas, Yongji County was the most severely hit. In the aftermath of the disaster, Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized to conduct relief work. This love continues until the end of the year.
Your great love is the biggest fortune that we have received. Your help has strengthened the confidence and resolution for the residents in Yongji to rebuild their life.
I have heard from them that you come from Taiwan. You came from afar to save us. I feel very grateful.
With the assistance of the local government, more than 200 volunteers from North and Northeastern China have completed distribution work for 1,698 households. Many local residents even volunteer to serve those in need.
When Tzu Chi volunteers came here, I feel like they are here not only to conduct relief work, but they also give us humanitarian care. Their love warms our hearts.
In the freezing weather, volunteers and local residents all feel warmth, and this love will accompany the residents in Yongji to get through this winter.
Thank you all. Thank you for your help. In our next report, we meet an award winner for medical contributions, Dr.许权振. He is the Deputy Superintendent of Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital, who specializes in otology. His research on cochlear implants also allowed him to gain national recognition in Taiwan.
Dr.
Xu Quanzhen has been wearing a white robe for 40 years. He has saved more people than he can remember.
Seeing everyone working diligently to help our patients and ending their pain and illnesses, we're certainly very happy.
Dr. Xu is devoted to teaching medical students and is also a famous authority, so many young doctors like to work with him.
Because the Grand Master is here, I want to develop my skills in this area.
Young doctors like to learn from him, so almost all the otolaryngologists at the Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital are his students. Wu Hongbin was Xu Quanzhen's top student. The interactions between the two of them show they are very close.
He has done a lot of things, but he will do more in the future. So I feel it's too early for him to receive the Lifetime Contribution Award. I hope he can receive it 20 years later.
Dr. Xu has pushed for hearing tests for newborn babies and a cochlear implant to be included in the National Health Program. He set up a deaf gene bank and attended international conferences to increase the influence of Taiwan's medical field in the world. This year, Dr. Xu received the Taiwan Medical Exemplar Award and the Taiwan Otolaryngologist Contribution Award for his great achievements in the medical field. Despite his achievements, he is still very caring to patients and underprivileged people.
I'd never gone to the patient's home for medical treatment at National Taiwan University Hospital, but this is very common at our Tzu Chi hospitals, and I'm lucky to have gone several times.
Dr. Xu joined this Tzu Chi hospital 3 years ago and found a long-forgotten medical culture.
Many patients here are poor. Tzu Chi is another role model in the medical field.
Besides his medical skills, Dr. Xu continues to influence young doctors with his medical culture and conduct.
In 1994, Taiwan formally declared war on drugs with a new philosophy that treatment is more important than punishment. Drug abusers now have a series of options that allow them to get off drugs. It includes interviews with teachers, psychologists, and social workers to relieve their drug addiction. However, the serious shortage of counselors has led to many vacancies at the moment, making volunteer assistance all the more important. Here is our report.
They are like the popular band Mayday behind prison walls, as music helps settle their soul. Here, this handmade origami is a type of art therapy. The Xindian Drug Abuse Center holds classes like this with an emphasis upon education.
Why
is it necessary to do education here? Because they don't use drugs and they know they have lost something and they are in a vulnerable place. Here they replace their name with a number and they have lost their freedom as part of their punishment. But at least there's a little candle in this dark corner. Mindfulness and other lessons to relieve stress is part of this curriculum to help them soothe their soul. To escape drug addiction, they need an outlet for their emotions as a psychotherapist and social workers offer assistance.
Therapy and guidance is all very helpful. It is difficult for them to establish relationships because counseling and treatments, in fact, it is an interpersonal thing and they are used to living their own life and they have a different way of getting along with people. A lot of the time their reaction to courses or with me is like this.
Quitting drugs can be aided by religious counseling. Christians, Catholics, Buddhist groups, and volunteers have weekly sessions to aid treatment as these courses allow them to engage in spiritual exchange. Oral cancer survivor Zhang Xingguo is a member of the Catholic Libertas Education Foundation. He spent 2/3 of his life on drugs, and the Drug Abuse Center was like a second home to him. 9 years ago, he quit drugs and began rehabilitation and changed from a gangster to a prisoner and now a counselor.
Catholicism, Tzu Chi's Buddhism, Christianity, and even Maitreya Buddhism, Iguandao all help us understand our soul and our minds and allow us to think of many things.
When people interact with them, they express a willingness to undertake reflection. I think that when someone is willing to undergo reflection, it is actually the beginning of change.
Volunteers from the Tzu Chi Foundation are old friends to many of the people in the center. To allow these prisoners to free their heart, volunteers hold this regular book study session, hoping that the Dharma can inspire them. Even if there's no goal to their study, these volunteers still carefully work to enlighten these participants. In June of this year, a group of inmates performed the Sutra of the Medicine Buddha and said goodbye to their own past.
From taking off the prisoner's uniform, I feel a sort of rebirth and found that this goodness can really inspire and affect others.
One of the tenets of this education is the successful reintegration into the community. However, there's a high degree of professionalism required by correctional officers to intervene and provide guidance in this area. Actually, many prisons in Taiwan are at overcapacity. According to data in 2015, the total number of counselors in Taiwan was 184, while the number of inmates was over 57,000. This means that there is only one person to counsel 312 inmates. To help, volunteers and religious people have become essential in this area.
Counselors are officially dispatched if they have passed the Judicial Yuan's third-class prison exam and training that receive a certificate and are reassigned to the prison to serve.
Counselors are like our administrative staff. In addition to individual counseling, they sometimes do group counseling as well as some administrative measures, like applying for parole for engaging in other cultural and recreational activities.
While they do similar work counseling prisoners, volunteer counselors don't have the same accreditation, which may confuse some.
Now these volunteer counselors or social work volunteers were once known as honorary counselors, so the general public may be confused by their position. Many people may still like the old way of addressing them.
Whether one is a certified counselor or just a volunteer, they do help calm the anxiety of prisoners, help them overcome fear and resentment. The long-term counseling cannot be ignored, as it can help them overcome their challenges and teach them to never give up on their life.
As the COP23 Climate Change Summit, which is held in Bonn, Germany, young people from different parts of the world came together to discuss how they can help to save the Earth. Let's join them there and learn about how their creative ideas to improve the environment.
Young people have something to say at the COP23 conference.
Please keep in mind, we cannot keep saying we are the future because we are the present. And we have a lot of answers, we have a lot of knowledge, we just need to keep together and keep going. We can do it.
Some people feel deeply about climate change.
How climate change has impacted my mom and my community at large. My colleague here and my colleagues sitting here, their islands was devastated completely. About half of the population, more than 60% of the population was devastated.
Young people from different countries inform others what they have done on the issue.
We promote it by action, so we, for example, during the camp, summer camp, and we experience it with the children really, and it's not like a course or we don't teach something, but it's really we experience it together, and that's the way.
Vegetarian or maybe eating less meat can really help reduce the carbon footprint around the world.
I hope young people can join us to become vegetarian or eat less meat to fight back climate change.
Young people can go have fun, but these young people are doing their best because they say there is only one Earth.
In our next report, we meet a Tzu Chi care recipient,许胜欽. He studies at the Department of Arts and Design at National Hemei Experimental School in Zhanghua. He was rebellious in his adolescence as he loves racing his car. When he did part-time work in 10th grade, he lost his fingers in his left hand due to a crashing-type injury. Later, he would suffer an even worse fate as he became paralyzed in a traffic accident, leading loss of strength in the right half of his body. Over the past few years, Tzu Chi volunteers have been accompanying him and encouraged him to continue his study. He hopes to become a designer in the future.
I was rebellious during adolescence. I had a car at that time. It was then that I started to race my car and transform it.
She was once frivolous, which left a large scar on his belly due to a traffic accident. He even had a stroke on the right half of his body.
I later knew that I had to live like this my whole life. I was also not sure whether I would be able to walk or fully recover. I thought the only way to improve my condition was to do rehab. I used to think my life was hopeless.
At the time, Tzu Chi volunteers gave him support as they encouraged him not only to do rehab, but also continue his study.
He listened to our advice. I told him to study hard so that he can find a good job in the future. When she was 14, he lost 4 fingers in his left hand due to an injury. A traffic accident also led loss of strength in his right hand. He greased the drawing pen with his thumb. He is very optimistic. As volunteers, we give him positive energy so that he can create a better future for himself.
I want to be a draft mechanical designer in the future so that I can draw structural drafts for some products and give them to manufacturers. Thanks for Tzu Chi volunteers' encouragement, care, and help.
The volunteers are just like Shi's mother who loved him and cared for him. Shi's father has also seen his sons change.
I encourage him to go to college. I told him I can help him through college since I can still work now.
The ebb of life may be another turning point, as this can be proved in许胜欽, who has bravely overcome obstacles in his life to embrace a brighter future. Everyone is able to do something for the environment, and these efforts can be even spread to schools. Li Ruoci is a student of Mingdao High School in Taichung, Taiwan. After she discovered the school used a lot of disposal lunchboxes, she collected over 1,000 lunchboxes and turned them into artwork for collecting garbage. Her acts of protecting the environment has also influenced her classmates.
These students collect paper lunch boxes and wash them and realize they use so many every day.
After 2 weeks, we collected around 1,600 lunch boxes. Then we turned these lunch boxes into artwork.
Li Ruozi, a senior at Minda High School, initiated an event to collect lunch boxes and turn them into garbage cans. Thus, other people can realize this is an environmental issue.
At lunchtime, we use so many one-time only lunch boxes. So I want to encourage everyone to bring their own lunch boxes to buy their lunches.
This had effects on students. More and more students bring their lunch boxes. The school also uses lesser, one-time only lunch boxes at various events.
This is the first influence when students of different grades joined her in doing it. After these young children started it, it's time for adults to think about it.
If we can turn a positive idea into action, we can protect the environment.
Next, we meet a devoted recycling volunteer from Malaysia's Padang. Sandirang Ayasami is an Indian Malaysian and he works as a street sweeper. After he met Tzu Chi volunteer T. Lian Xiu, he realized that doing recycling can not only save the earth, but also help those in need. He then started to carry out recycling, as he usually takes to the streets to collect recyclables in his community.
Every morning at 4 o'clock, 59-year-old Sandirang Ayasami, who is a street sweeper, leaves home with much energy.
Whenever I see plastic products, I usually pick them up. I walk to collect recyclables because I cannot see clearly when I ride the motorcycle or drive.
Although Sandirang suffers from epilepsy, this illness doesn't affect his determination to do recycling, as he always feels happy to give of himself.
I feel very happy because these resources can help those who are poor or ill.
Over the past year, he usually sends the recyclables he has collected to Tzu Chi volunteer T. Lian Xiu's shop.
We were sorting and folding the cartons there. He asked me why I need these cartons and what they are for. I told him I will not earn money by selling these cartons. Instead, I'll donate the money I earn from selling these resources to Tzu Chi to do good deeds. He later told me that he will collect recyclables and give them to me.
The volunteers also invite Sandirang to embrace vegetarianism. They prepare vegetarian lunch for him 3 days a week. His wife seldom goes out due to a stroke, so the volunteers also visit their home to accompany her.
We come here to cook something for her, and after we have a talk with her, she feels happier.
With the volunteers' care, this Indian-Malaysian couple has felt the love and warmth that transcends religious differences.
At Tzu Chi's Zhonggang Recycling Station in New Taipei's Xinjiang, a special class has been established to offer exercise and activities to keep seniors healthy and happy. We will leave you with these images. Goodbye.